and welcome to my June 2020 setup. For this month I decided to go with the 60s summer theme. Now I know there's a few 70s things included in these pages, but I tried to stick to things between 1965 and 1971. I have started a new journal this month, but wanted to get the June's video up first, so keep your eyes out this week for my 2020 Part 2 setup. Now if you'd like to see more of my journaling, some of my vintage faves, and behind the scenes, definitely check out my Instagram, which is linked below. But first, let's get into it. So when I decided to do 60s, I kind of wanted to do a mix of kind of boho, hippie, but like also the mod and the rock fashion, so I kind of did a blend of all of those. But when I wanted to do the title page, I knew I kind of wanted to do something like the old posters you would see from musicians. Now there's a YouTuber I follow that focuses on mainly 60s and 70s fashion, Devin Crimson. I really love her channel, and if you're interested in anything vintage, definitely check her out. I'll have her linked below. I love her channel art and I really love her style, so I kind of modeled my 60s gal off of her. For this I did a blend of kind of like the posters that you see for these vintage bands, but also vintage Vogue covers. Now, I really love anything 60s or 70s, and I've been trying to expand that in my wardrobe the past few years, and definitely these few months. If you'd like to see more videos relating to that, please let me know. As I said, I'll be posting my 2020 Part 2 setup soon, which will also be including an unboxing of the new journal and flip through of the old one. Now I'm really sorry I haven't been very present here on YouTube and even on my Instagram the past couple months. As I've said in my previous May video, I've been really busy sewing masks and it took up pretty much all of my time, but now there's a lesser need for it and the need is slowed down. I hope to be getting some other things done that I've been wanting to do, like some vintage related sewing, as well as more bullet journal videos and maybe vintage videos for YouTube. So if there's anything that you're wanting to see there, definitely do let me know. Now, I wasn't able to film all of the pages, like the process of all the pages, and the lighting is off for very much of the filming process, and I'm really sorry about that, but I'll make sure to have good photos on my Instagram, which I'll be posting throughout the month of June. Now, when I was coming up with the ideas and looking at different ideas for the month of June and ended up doing 60s, I kept like saving and wanting to do like all these different 70s ideas, and I had all these different like groovy ideas. And I really want to do like a soul or disco inspired month that's like all 70s. So if you're really wanting to see that for another month in the upcoming future, please do let me know because I have tons of 70s ideas. Now all these pages are really inspired by 60s musicians. I had seen some 60s pages before for bullet journaling, but a lot of it was the flower power. But I wanted to do something a little bit different, and I hope that you guys do like it. Now I did not record my activity tracker because it's literally the same thing every month, so you can see it at the beginning of the video or at the end of the video. Now I know Elton John is not 60s, he's technically 70s, but he was still performing and writing music at the end of the 60s, and so I modeled this page off of his troubadour look, which was technically at the very beginning of the 70s, so does it count? Please. Elton John is one of my favorite musicians, and I decided I really wanted to do this because, well, I love his music, and I feel like the earlier music that he did was very 60s. So I did the troubadour look, as I said, with the blue and the gold added to it, and I tried to do metallic silver stars. They can't really show up on camera, but they do show up in person. Here in one of the corners I did a little Benny and the Jets quote, but you can see that at the end of the video. I just didn't catch it on camera. The upcoming week, I kind of wanted to do a mix of the 60s like mod space race that you see, but also with a teeny tiny little Led Zeppelin in the corner. So I was very inspired by 70s and 60s shoes that you would see that had all the space symbolism, and then this little Led Zeppelin comic. Now you're going to see pretty much all markers in this video because I have so many markers and I never use them because I always do watercolor. So I kind of made it my own personal goal this month to do like all markers and only use watercolor when I absolutely needed to, like with Devin's hair. And this is because I really want to use the markers, and then I thought it would be perfect for 60 since things are very blocky and bold colors. And then also I know a lot more people prefer markers over watercolor, so I thought that these themes would be a little bit more friendly for people if they would want to try these themes. I'm happy with how this page turned out, but I didn't like how I added the blue at the top. I was initially trying to mix the blues with the kind of the greens, the oranges, and the reds, and the yellows, but I don't like it. I wish I would not have included the blue up at the top of the Zeppelin. I think I would have just stuck with green, and in the end I ended up putting some green over the blue. But I did the days of the week and the lettering off camera, but I did include it here. One cannot simply do the 60s and not include the Beatles. The Beatles are like existentially encompassing of all the 60s, so like from mod to rock to the hippie movement, so I had to include them. And I know a lot of people have done Yellow Submarine, but I really wanted to do it, and so I did a little Yellow Submarine page, and then I did a little All You Need Is Love quote off to the side, which you will see later. But then again, I did want to do markers, so I just did a really simple like markers and blocking. I just kind of did a layout that took up 2 pages that I really do like, since I know this will be a week that I will be having a lot of to-do lists, so I wanted to make it 2 pages, and this is one that I've done before. I wanted to keep everything else really simple since I was having 2 really big blocks of color in the pages. Now, if you asked me to pick a favorite Beatles song, I could definitely not do it. If you asked me to pick a favorite Beatles album, I could not do it. I feel like I could do an entire month of just Beatles themes. But I did just stick with the Yellow Submarine, as I said, but some of my favorite songs is Eleanor Rigby and Here Comes the Sun, so if that's a different option that you want to do, there's definitely those songs as well. Now, on the last page, I did not record it, but I ended up doing a playlist page as per request my Instagram. I did a page that is mostly the 60s music I've been listening to lately, but I did make sure to just do 1 song per band, but I will have that included at the beginning and the end of this video. Now, another band I could definitely not just pick 1 favorite song or 1 favorite album is the Mamas and the Papas, and so I decided just to do California Dreaming. When I was joking around with my dad I was doing the 60s, he said, well, you must do a Volkswagen Beetle, and so I said, alright, a Volkswagen Beetle, and he says, with a surfboard on top, and I was like, okay, Dad, Volkswagen Beetle with a surfboard on top coming right up. And so I decided to do a little California Dreamin' theme with a little yellow bug. I almost did mellow yellow, so if you're not a big Mamas and Papas fan, you could always do like a mellow yellow like Donovan theme on these pages. Be able to see I modeled the orange California Dreaming off of one of the album covers that they have for one of their records. I decided to do that, and then off on the other page I only have 3 days for that week for the month of June, so I decided to do little cassettes which was coming in at the beginning and end of the 70s. I know it's not 60s as I said, but I did a little 60s flower pattern off to the side with kind of the more hippie colors that you see instead of the mod colors like the browns, the oranges, the yellows, which I think is my favorite colors. I really love those like neutrals but yet bright. I modeled this after a 1960s bed sheet. But I really just love it, and I do finish this page off camera, but I will have it shown again at the beginning and end of these videos. I considered coloring in the cassettes like a yellow or a brown, but I decided not to do it to keep it a little bit more minimal, especially since this took so long to do it off to the side. But you'll see a lot of my pages will have like 1 illustration, but then the rest will be very simple, and I just like that because it keeps things a little bit neater and tidier. That's it for the month of June. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really wanted to do a little bit of like 60s groovy, but as I said, I would love to do 70s groovy, so if that's something you're interested in, do let me know. I hope that you guys enjoyed the bright colors and the different patterns of this month, and as I said, I will be having the 2020 part 2 posted either this week or next week. I hopefully will have it this week. I'm working on it now. But I really enjoyed doing this. It took a long time, but I just love all the colors, and as I said, I love all the musicians that I included. If you would like to see more or give input on my videos, make sure to subscribe and comment here on YouTube, but also definitely check me out on Instagram. I do a lot more on Instagram, like polls, behind the scenes questionnaires, so definitely check me out on there. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I just do this for fun, and I love hearing back from you all. I hope that you're staying safe and well. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Happy bullet journaling!